Hello folks, welcome to OTD, also known as On the Deck, where you can get all the sports you need in 10 minutes. My name is Adam Orduna. This is my mom, Gina.
He is a journalist.
She's the enthusiast.
Oh my gosh, I am so enthusiastic. Next to the kickoff day for football, this is the best day of the year.
Right, I feel like if the Super Bowl is like Christmas,
yes,
this is like the birthday. Because both are awesome days. And so we are talking about the NFL draft. The 2017 NFL draft is taking place today, starting through the whole weekend. And it's going to be awesome.
I feel like this almost kicks off football
season.
It
does. You know? For the most part, it really does. Especially when the off season, you've got the NFL scouting combine, and then everyone's finishing up their pro days, and then you even have like the spring games for colleges as well. Then everyone goes back for that. And then there's plenty of scouts that goes to those spring games as well. And then you have the actual draft, which you get to find out who's going to whose team and which players are getting selected by the new franchises that they'll be representing. And then it's taking off from their OTAs, all the summer workouts. So excited. And then it's preseason, and then the season's here. So it's just awesome. So
football.
Yes. So this episode is specifically going to be featured around the quarterbacks, and we're going to do a lot of quarterback breakdown because this is a really big class. There's a lot of talent and all of the positions really, but we're going to focus primarily on the quarterbacks for this one. And we've got a couple guys we want to highlight, talk about which teams may need one quarterback or need a guy that'll really help them out. And so we're going to do that today with this episode. And let's get right into it so we can get it going here.
Yeah. Well, as opposed to last year's quarterback class. So if you guys want to go back, you can, on Adam's YouTube channel, you go back, check old episodes. We were super unhappy with last year's class.
It was rough.
It really was rough because last year's class came behind the Marcus Mariota and Jameis Winston class. And then last year was like, wow,
wow. The only shining star was Dak Prescott.
And then Dak Prescott,
and he got jacked anyways.
He did. But this year we've got some great people. And I'll kind of list the top notable names.
Right.
You know, you've got Deshaun Kaiser. You've got Deshaun Watson. Deshaun Kaiser's out of Notre Dame. Deshaun Watson out of Clemson. You've got Mitchell Trubisky out of North Carolina. You've got Patrick Mahomes, who's out of the Big 12. We love him. You got Brad Kaya out of Miami. CJ, is it Beathard?
Yes, CJ Beathard. Yep.
CJ Beathard out of Iowa. And then Nathan Peterman out of Pitt. So those are some of the big names everybody's been throwing out
exactly. And then a couple other guys that have a chance to also get drafted in probably the later rounds, but Josh Dobbs out of Tennessee, Davis Webb out of Cal. You got Chad Kelly, who's the nephew of Jim Kelly, the Hall of Fame quarterback Jim Kelly out of Ole Miss. Then you got Gerard Evans out of Vatech, representing the ACC as well. Seth Russell, Big 12, out of Baylor. And then you got Garrett Fugate.
Go on and tell me about Garrett Fugate.
A Blue Valley Northwest alum. I didn't have the opportunity to play with him because he came after me, but he was in the line of quarterbacks that were really good. After I left, my quarterback, Michael Peterson, went and played college ball. We had Kobe Chaddock, who was another big-time quarterback for us, and then Garrett Fugate rounded it out. And he's really got a great opportunity as he's coming out of Central Missouri. It's a Division II school, but he's getting looked at by a lot of NFL scouts right now.
Can play some football.
Yes, there's some guys that get drafted, and so he's got a great chance. So we're happy for him and all these quarterbacks. And there's a lot more guys out there that we didn't really mention because we just don't have enough time.
So you went to a great high school and a great college.
Yeah, exactly. So that's awesome. So let's go ahead and break down some of the teams that we know are in need of a quarterback, even if it's not a starting quarterback, a guy that can be the future of a franchise coming up. Let's talk about the Cleveland Browns, as they are right now in disarray for the most part. They won one game last year.
It's craziness.
I think if you've seen online, they've got the picture. There's like somebody, it's like a sports shop that like has a jersey of all the quarterbacks, and it's like the names, they just keep putting tape over the names, and it's like 30 quarterbacks since they reopened the franchise in 2000 or 1999, and so it's been crazy. Obviously desperate. Johnny Manziel was their hopeful, and then they went through and it didn't work out, and then RG3 last year. So they are in need of a quarterback.
They are desperately in need of a quarterback.
Also, we have the Houston Texans that are in need of a quarterback as well.
Well, we can't forget the New York Jets, who are desperate for a quarterback.
Right, the Jets, yes.
Okay.
Go ahead, go ahead. And exactly. Talk about that. Yes, talk about this.
The Jets have drafted a quarterback every year for the last, I think it was 3 to 5 drafts.
Correct.
It's like, dude, get a guy and stick with him.
Yes.
And there's, I know they're not super happy with where they're at, but you can't just every year draft a new quarterback.
Right, exactly.
You're going to have to stick with something and build up around the quarterback.
Right.
Maybe it's what the Jets need
right.
to do.
Exactly.
Sorry.
And then if there's some teams like the Chiefs that are in need of a good backup, as Alex Smith is still holding it down, doing a great job, but he's been injury prone. He's had concussions in the past, and they need a guy to take over the reins once he gets done. And
well, what about like New Orleans? Because you know you've got an aging quarterback there too. I don't know who's sitting behind him.
Right, exactly. New Orleans is another good example. Even not to say that he's a guy that's going to retire extremely soon, but the Packers would be a good team to get a quarterback to sit behind watch Aaron Rodgers gunsling and be the Hall of Famer that he is. So there are some teams out there right now that are in need. Now teams like the Titans, Tampa Bay, they're good. You don't have to worry about that. The Eagles drafted Carson Wentz last year. They're good.
Well, now who did Chicago trade for? Because Chicago, obviously, they let go of Jay Cutler.
Yes, and that's another team that is in need of a quarterback.
And I thought they did a good pickup in the
they did. Agency. They picked up, they picked up the backup from Tampa Bay last year, and they've got him for a 2-year contract. And so
but then again, there's somebody you could recruit to.
Another guy another team that's in need of a quarterback for the most part. So we still got some time left here. Who are your favorites out of this quarterback draft, or out of the list of guys that we just listed off here?
Thank you for asking me that question. Deshaun Watson, what is everybody thinking?
All right.
Come on, people.
Yes.
I don't care how somebody does in the underwear Olympics at the Combine or their personal pro day doing drills they're never going to do in the league. Yeah. You got to get your eyes on a guy who has had back-to-back national championship games against the closest thing to an NFL defense, that Alabama Tide defense. Not just 1 year, but 2. And the second year, there was so much pressure on him.
Yes.
And he delivered both years. This is a guy, I understand you're going to hit me up with his interception percentages. Oh, well, everybody throws interceptions. Right. Especially their first year in. But you're talking about a guy who is money under pressure, a leader who's just dogmatic about doing what he needs to do. To me, it is Deshaun Watson, #1 overall. Obviously, I also like low-key. I love Garrett Fugate.
Hey.
Not only that, he's a local kid from our high school.
Yes.
But he is a really good quarterback.
He's a good quarterback, and he's athletic.
You get these D2 pickups. But last, and this is kind of a bigger name, but I'm all about that Brad Kaya.
Yes.
You know, for those of you who don't know, his mom played Felicia in Friday. Bye, Felicia. But he came out of the U. He's not only a gunslinger, he's good with his legs, and he is somebody people are overlooking.
Yes, he is a great option for a lot of teams. I would love to see the Chiefs pick him up. We are rocking our Chiefs gear because it is a big deal for us to pick up a quarterback for the
I've already got the boobs.
Well, it is a little warm out here. It is springtime, so it heats up for us. But yeah, I would agree with you. My favorite quarterback out of this draft is definitely Deshaun Watson. I think he is a leader in the locker room, on and off the field. He's got all the intangibles for being a playmaker. He's played Alabama twice in the biggest stages that you can possibly play in, and that's the national championship. There's no reason for the Browns to overlook him.
I agree.
If they do, that's on them. I hope the Chiefs pick him up. I actually like a Deshaun Kaiser. I like his build. I think he's got a lot going on for him. I think he's a little bit of a project, but for the most part, I think this is a guy that under 1 or 2 years of sitting around and watching somebody, he's got potential to really be good. I'm definitely rooting for Garrett Fugate. I think this is a kid that we just know him from the backyard, and we've watched him play. He graduated with my sister Ariel, so he's one of those kids that you're just rooting for. And we'll see. You know, there's a lot of guys out there right now. Yeah, Brad Kaya, Seth Russell, Big 12 guy. Yeah. Patrick Mahomes, that's another Big 12 guy. Always rooting for the Big 12. And so we'll see what happens. And
neither of us mentioned Mitchell Trubisky. And I'm not trying to throw shade at him by not mentioning him, but everybody else is.
Exactly.
So listen, he was a 1-year starter at North Carolina. He's got the build, the skills. He's tested well. Yeah. I've heard interviews with him. He seems like a really nice young man.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, you asked me who I'm rooting for, my favorites. That's you know, that's where I'm at.
And he's from the Cleveland area. He's from Ohio, so the Browns may go that direction. And so we'll see what happens.
We'll see what happens.
So we're excited. We are going to be watching the draft very closely.
Okay, real quick. Last year we said that was a B- quarterback class. How would you rank this quarterback class this year?
I would say that this is probably a B+ to an A- because I think there's a lot of depth in this position. There's only a couple guys that I would say that are truly ready to go. I think there's a lot of good guys in this draft class this year. And so I just think this is going to be a good
I would agree with you. I'd be B+ or A-. All right, well, we'll find out.
Hey, we'll find out. We're going to be watching all weekend And so let's go, Chiefs. Get Deshaun Watson.
Get Deshaun Watson.
Let's go, man. We need it. So we're excited. We're going to be watching the draft all day today, and continue to subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Ariel.
Happy birthday to my sister. She's 21, and we're going to continue to just keep giving you updates. We'll see you next time, folks.